Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Blades of Avernum. Last episode, we managed to make it to the town of Sunset Creek in the first episode of Ecker's Renegade. It was a bit of an interesting thing. We found some interesting stuff, including a mysterious sniper who told us some things. Actually, no, he didn't really tell us anything. Just made some cryptic remarks and then ran off. And then we found a guy who took us on a boat over to Sunset Creek. Now it's time to go through the town itself. That's probably the people in charge there. Oh, hello. This man wears the robes of a priest. He looks rather exhausted, though, and his altar is clearly a very temporary affair, consisting of some unlit incense, a candle, and an empty glass. Hello there. My name is Alfred. Welcome to this, well, temporary shrine of sorts. I wish I could offer you a better resting place, but... Oh, look at me natter on. If you're interested in healing, solace, or... Well, why don't you just tell me while you're here? Why are you here? Well, I could have left with the rest of the merchants, but I suspect that I was fortunate to have chosen not to do so. As for me, I decided to linger about and heal the soldiers who were getting injured in the first skirmishes. I had no idea things would get this bad, but they have. And now my only option is to stick around. What god do you follow? I'd rather not answer. You see, not everyone follows the same deity, and some people take offense if you follow deities that they don't like much. If I worship a generic deity, or at least say that I do, then people will be more willing to accept my healing. It's a general rule of thumb for wandering healers like myself. I hope that answers your question. A wise choice. Can you teach any spells? He can. Healing, curing, and unshackle mind. But only to level 1. Albert has a sharply limited quality of spells that he can cast. Very limited. Almost comically so. Some healing would be nice. Well, if you say so. Alfred puts his palms together and begins muttering. Suddenly, wave upon wave of healing energy passes over us. There, that should do it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need a rest after that. Excellent. Wow. They really are keeping the archers out there. Hobson is sitting at the table here, chatting with the man across from him. Oh, you! Thanks again for the help in safely getting back here. I can't tell you how close I felt I was to dying. I'm just taking a break for now. Reconnaissance is dangerous work, and we have mostly up-to-date information, so I don't see any harm in taking a break for now. What did you do before the brigands came? He shakes his head. I was a lone fisherman. I was good at it, too. I was able to take the smallest dinghy further than you'd have imagined. Regardless, those days are over. Now I have a vessel far greater than any dinghy. Last the circumstances I've obtained it by are desolate indeed. What do you do other than reconnaissance? Me? Nothing. Do you know how... Well, okay, I suppose you do know how dangerous it is. But anyway, yes, I'm not really obligated to do much after recon. Of course, sometimes I help the newbies with fishing. Sometimes, when I get bored enough, I just lay down a line and fish. Sure, things are tense here, but they're also pretty boring. Could you take us back? Hobson shakes his head. No, I'm sorry. It's just way too dangerous. Why don't you go talk to the mayor and captain to see what you can do around here to help? Will do. This woman is patiently grinding herbs into a thick, viscous paste in her mortal and pestle. Mortal and pestle? She's making a potion which, to a city under siege, is of vital importance. She looks up at us briefly with confusion. You must be new around here, I suppose. Or are you the ones Hobson was telling me about? My name's Jewel, she says as she sets down her mortal and pestle. I'm an herbalist by trade. Thanks for the help you've given this city. Jewel, that's an unusual name. She shrugs. What can I say? My folks are very salt-of-the-earth types. Love of nature and whatnot. I think it's a pretty name. Even if it's not a pretty name, it's unusual, meaning that people remember it. You know what I mean? Are there ingredients in the area to make potions with? Actually, yes. Normally herbalists don't give away their secrets, but I won't be getting outside much anyway, so I'll tell you. The The bushes in this region with red berries mark areas particularly fertile. If you look closely enough and know the telltale signs, you should be able to scrounge together some worthy herbs. Alright, standard kind of thing. How long have you been here? Well, I was just passing through, spending a few days in the area to pick some ingredients. It was, my third day here? I saw some men marching from the forests. I waited for them to pass by, concealing myself. I thought they were particularly well organized, but their equipment wasn't the kind used by any soldier I used, so I came to the conclusion that they were particularly devoted bandits or seditious rebels. When they had passed, I made my way back to town and began making potions. I figured the soldiers here would want a few after the fighting had ended. Well, I underestimated the situation by a fair deal, and so here I am. Still. Do you have any spare potions available for purchase? She does. Energy potions and energy elixirs. Definitely buy the elixirs. Those are very important. And I may as well grab those. Those I don't think we really need right now. Do you have any recipes? She does. Quite a few. But I pretty much have all the recipes I want or need. That's all for now, thanks. Alright. Well, we're not going to go outside, but we are going to look around. Yep, didn't mean to do that. Nope, can't go around the outside there. Good to know. Looks like this is the, yeah, this is where all the merchant shops were. Emphasis on were. City Hall. We'll investigate there last, I think. Look like old barracks here. The guard here lowers his halberd at us, blocking our path up to the ramparts with a large pointed implement. Sorry, folks. Can't let you up here. There's a large army out there, and we're under strict orders to let nobody get at them. That includes you. Okay, then. This looks like it might have been a small inn. The guards here lowers their halberds at us, blocking the way out of the city. The city is under lockdown. There's a large brigand army outside, and it's not your place to assault it without Captain Rupert's orders. Okay then. Message received. Maybe it's not an inn. What is that then? Interesting design. More barracks. And for a town that wasn't really expecting a siege, this is honestly pretty well defended. These fishing boats have had chairs placed on them, allowing archers to sit on the boats and look out onto the water for brigand activity. Since, as we know from experience, the brigands aren't just capable of attacking by land. I don't know if that was intended, but... Oh, actually, yeah, I guess it was. Nice. Very clever. The guards lower their polearms, obstructing our path. Sorry, adventurers, but you need permission to enter here. Okay. Town hall it is. Jesus, there's papers everywhere. This man is patiently poring over a map of the area with red and blue blocks stationed around various points. He has a stack of reports scattered around the map. He's pretty good at ignoring me. Not that I can blame him. Being the military commander of a besieged city must be nerve-wracking after all. He looks to be preparing for combat, wearing full regalia, but it's apparent from the bags under his eyes and his jittery disposition that putting a sword in his hands would be a waste of good metal. The siege has not been kind to him. Hello there. Pardon me, but could you please speak to Mayor Candace first? Thank you. This woman seems buried in paperwork. It must be difficult organizing a city under complete siege. She seems fairly confident in herself, however. Most administrators would not expect to do half as much for their respective frontier towns, and yet this gal is going well above the call of duty without even a grumpy frown. Hello, ma'am. The woman raises her head. What? I don't know you. Who are you? Why are you in my office? Never mind that. How did you get here? Explain the situation. First, we begin explaining to her about the letter we received from the province's imperial liaison. She already seems skeptical. Pardon me, friends, but this is not a province, it is a colony. We don't have an imperial liaison. Plus, this letter addresses you by your names, even though you've never been here in your life. Where did you get this letter, really? Sorry, ma'am, we don't know. Fine, you look dumbfounded enough that I'm willing to believe you. Let's just say that how you got here was a miracle. What else happened? We tell her about General Abaddon's ravaged homestead, the brigands waiting for me on the road, and the sniper with the magical device guarding the road. She seems horrified. The general is dead? God damn it, and they have magic-wielding snipers now. Well, at least we know just how absolutely hopeless things are becoming, but go on. We finished by telling her about how we met Hopston on the shore of the river, and how we were ambushed by the brigands, barely making it here unmolested. The woman finally pulls her hands from the top of her head and looks up at us from her seat. Well, thank you anyway. I'm Mayor Candace, and considering all you've done, it's a pleasure meeting you. Anyway, I can't give you much for your efforts since we're using practically every usable piece of equipment we've got, but here. She reaches into her side pocket and pulls out a polished steel key and hands it to me. This will open up the storerooms across the street and down some stairs inside. You probably won't have much of a use for what we've got, but feel free to take it anyway. Unfortunately, I'm not sure when you'll be able to leave this place, but thanks for the help you've given us anyway. Now, if you'll excuse me. Mayor Candace lowers her head again and goes back to her work. Anyway, as much as I appreciate what you've done, I have work to do, so if you'll excuse me. Do you get much sleep? Candace points below her right eye with her index finger, revealing a large bag hanging below it as she scowls slightly. I am not getting much sleep. Sorry if I'm not looking fresh. Is there anything that can be done to help this city? If you're honestly interested, I'd recommend talking to Rupert. He might be able to give you something to do, though I doubt it. How did all this happen? Well, one day everything was fine, and then these brigands began charging us from the forest to the north. We were barely able to put up wooden palisades. Fortunately, we had plenty of soldiers here, so we were able to repel their first attacks. Unfortunately, they seem to be both outnumbered and outgunned. You may want to talk to Captain Rupert about this. What do you do here? Not that I have time to tell you everything, but I manage every non-military aspect of the city. For instance, I make sure that we have enough food by rationing it. The average person here eats, say, 4 to 5 fish a day. That requires a great deal of organization in when we fish. Also, the palisades are constantly under attack, and I must make sure that we ration our lumber. We don't have much since we can't leave the city to get any more. Finally, I manage a slew of paperwork. Not as much as we might have if we were actually a province, but it still has to get done. Alright then. Captain Rupert it shall be. The captain is still sitting here with his maps, shifting troops around and occasionally making down some chicken scratch on an old reconnaissance report. Hello there.
Hello. I heard most of the story from Mayor Candace. Anyway, if the Ten Slayer has returned to us, then I trust you. I guess I'll just get to the point. I've got some questions to ask you. You know, particulars.
Alright.
You came from the south. Well, obviously, it's the only way you could have come from. My first question is, did you see a farm on your way here, and...
He's talking about General Abaddon's farm, the one we slept in, which was cleared out by brigands. We tell him everything we saw there, up to and including the wreckage.
Wait, hold up. You're absolutely certain that General Abaddon was slain? Tell me you're kidding.
We tell him that yes, we did see General Abaddon's body, decked in full war regalia with a large hole bored through his head. The whole family appeared to be slain with no survivors. Rupert appears mortified.
Shit! God damn it, Abaddon is dead. The great General Field Marshal was slain, and right after his poor son fell in battle. What a man. He was a fighter and a leader for the ages. He didn't deserve this. Listen, don't tell anyone about this. Just don't. Hearing of the General's death would be absolutely lethal to this city's morale. Anyway, thanks for the info.
But, Captain, there's more. Captain Rupert listens intently as we describe the sniper's ruse with the magical device and how he was guarding the road into the city.
So these brigands have magical boats, magical snipers, and they've killed one of the former field commanders of all military operations on this entire continent. This hardly bodes well, but thank you for your information.
Right. Rupert shakes his head.
And they killed Abadan. This is not good at all. Horrible news. Either way, thank you greatly for services rendered.
Is there any way to help the city out?
Why the hell would you want to do something like that? Never mind, I won't ask, just... Well, here's the thing, see? There's a large brigand army standing immediately outside of our gates. I'm not letting you charge out there to your inevitable doom. But if you could obtain a boat, it would be possible for you to access a small beach in the brigands' territory. I doubt you'd be able to help us, so I won't risk casualties by allowing you to engage a brigand army. But if you want to go into their territory, it would help. Of course, killing the brigand army would be miraculous, but I'm confident that you can't do it.
What are the specifics about the brigand situation?
Oh, that's a pretty involved question, but I guess I'll give you something of an answer, considering how much you've helped us out. Currently, there's a lot of them. Hundreds, maybe more. It's totally inexplicable. Honestly, I don't know much about them, other than that they need to be fought and intensely. They're powerful, almost to the point of being trained, and better organized than most would expect. Again, I have no real answers.
Where did the brigands come from?
Damn, that's a good question. I'd like to know. We've captured some of them and asked them where they've come from. We've gotten answers ranging from provinces to Zalaria itself. It's absolutely impossible to tell. They say that we'll never find their hideout, even if they told us where to look. They say that we'll never kill their commander. It's like an alibi that everyone was told to use in case they were captured. They're obviously well organized, but half of the crap they tell me is obviously them lying through their teeth. On the other hand, it's the only conclusive information we have. Sad, huh?
How did all this begin?
Well, one day the forests were just crawling with brigands. We didn't think much of it until they had already taken over most of the farmland. Of course, we weren't going to be taken over like sitting ducks, so we began setting up walls before the brigands reached us. When they did, however, it was astonishing to us all just how many they had gathered. There weren't as many people in town as there were brigands charging that wall. I'm amazed we survived in retrospect. They weren't using all their resources they had at their disposal.
How well trained and outfitted are the brigands?
Well, you might know this as well as any of us, but it appears as if the brigands have at least some education in both tactics and strategy. They're certainly more capable fighters than, say, random thugs. Their resources, though, are truly frightening. They have boats, a magical sniper roost, and weaponry on the level of what the military might use. I honestly do not know how they obtain such high-quality goods, but every victory we have hardly seems to faze them. It's like a never-ending torrent of men and goods.
A Rakshasa seems to be responsible for the brigands. We explained to him about the letter found in Abadan's residence, and how a magical being called a Rakshasa may be responsible for the occurrences here.
Are you joking with me? Do you honestly expect me to believe such a crackpot theory? What the hell would a super-powerful alien mega-beast want with this place? I understand that the situation here is pretty intense and inexplicable, but petty brigands or rebels might still come here for lumber and farmland. Deity-like beings? Not so much.
Alright then. I'll level up for Bonnie. I do kind of want to save up for pre-spells. Yeah, I'm going to save Bonnie up for pre-spells. Because, I don't know, we might be able to get more of it. Why don't I have Clouded Blades? I thought I purchased that. Yeah, I'm almost certain I purchased that. Why don't I have... That doesn't make sense. Either way, I'm gonna save up. Get pre-spells higher. You need permission to be here. Fortunately, we're able to explain to the guards that we received permission from Mayor Candace. The guards are suspicious, but when we show them the steel key, they ease up a little and let us pass. This woman is walking around the storeroom with a wooden plank in her hand with many stapled sheets of paper attached to it. She seems busy, constantly marking things off on her paper and looking at things. You! I heard a little about you. The name's Marie. I'm in charge of inventory here. Now, if you'll excuse me... She seems quite busy. What do you inventory? Things. Lumber, food, equipment. Things we need for survival. Mostly, my job is to make sure that we eat the oldest of the food that we catch as soon as possible before it spoils. Food is at a premium here. Keeping a city alive while separated from outside traders and the farms outside of our gates is not easy. Do you have anything available for purchase? What do I look like, a merchant? Do I have a sign hanging from my neck saying whatever little I have, take? Whatever we have, we're using. If Mayor Candace says you can have something, then take it. Otherwise, you should probably just assume that we're not going to give you anything, mostly because we just don't have it. Can we sell anything to you? Sunset Creek is pretty hard up for goods. The city doesn't have much in terms of money, but what it does have, it would easily part with for some direly needed supplies. Yep. Can you identify some of these items? Sure, why not? I've seen a lot of crazy stuff floating in and out of here as of late. Your goods should be no exception. For 15 gold apiece, I can tell you whatever you're carrying is. Alright, we got someone who can identify things. Perfect. And here's the storage. This is where Sunset Creek keeps all of its food, since it's a chilled room. It's also where the guards particularly don't want us to be digging around. We should be able to survive without looting this besieged town's food stores. Plus, if we do take their food, odds are we won't survive for long anyway. Okay. This is... That's interesting. Okay, that's blocked off. Everything seems to be shut up. Skeleton key. Interesting. Oh, there's some interesting stuff here. Steel axe. Don't need the bolts or javelins. Ooh, more potions. Ooh, more armor. This is nice. Iron greaves. You know what? I'll just sell those. Actually, I don't need to take the leather greaves. Still, that's some nice loot that we can sell. Cemetery. Oof. Requisite and possum. We've got some special loot over there that we can't get to. I do wonder what that shield is. No matter. Now, if you don't mind, identify that. Fine tribal spear. Hold on, does this skeleton key work on... No, it doesn't. I thought maybe it would work on these doors. It does not. Then what is the skeleton key for, I wonder? No matter. Alright. Let's see. We have all this loot we managed to get. Fine tribal spear is not better than the steel pike. Iron edge sword is a two-handed. Yeah, these weapons aren't that good. Shamshod plate mail and scrap metal armor is pretty damn good. I mean, I'll keep it, but I think Bonnie and Draco will leave with what they've got. So all this loot we've got, we're gonna sell it. Keeping the skeleton key because I have no idea what purpose it may have. fact, I'll let Sheik hold on to it. Oh! Plus 10 more levels of tool use! Definitely something to let Sheik hold on to. And it's definitely something useful. Alright. Let's take a look at what's this. Also, we have a quest. What is the quest? Kill Field Commander! Okay. Yes, the bridge has still been raised. The base supports for it are all that's still visible. If we're going to cross the river, it won't be from here. Oh, we got some energetic herbs. She stepped on there. Handy. We'll need to keep our eyes open for that. Alright, let's try the north side. I mean, they told us we're not going to be able to get out. Yep, city's under lockdown, can't get out. So, it seems we're going to have to go through the north here. Apparently, the denizens of Sunset Creek fish for their meals. Seeing how the farmlands are in brigand-held territory, this makes sense. There's a lot of people here, but it's likely that they need everyone they can merely to sustain themselves. It's unfortunate, but it's better than the alternative. At any rate, the people here are willing to sell us some of their catch, since we're now as isolated from the rest of the world as they are. If we need food, it's probably going to come from here. How are we on food, anyway? 2 bread, 2 mushrooms. Wait, no, that's price. No, that is actually the amount. 2 bread and 2 mushrooms. You know what, sure. Just in case, you never know, we might need it. Alright, so we need a boat. There's only one boat I can think of. Could you ferry us into brigand territory, Hobston?
This isn't a joke, right? Are you trying to see if I'm stupid?
We tell him that no, we are not joking with him.
Fine, I'll take you across the waters. You're crazy, but I know firsthand how good you are, and I'm going to give you this chance. I'm ready to go now. Are you ready?
No, not yet. I'm gonna save first.